Namaste, angels. This is the weekly reading for the period of Sunday, the 27th of February through Saturday to come, the 5th of March. We're starting with the dice and spend money. Forget it. Wet and wild and sex. Wet and wild. Every time I see it, it gives me like the vibe and the feelings of fire energies and water energies. This week, maybe that's because of the new moon in Pisces on March 2nd, because Jupiter is also located in Pisces. Jupiter, ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, an ancient ruler of the sign of Pisces, actually. Spirit says, buy shoes, stay in bed. I feel like this is the same messages we got last week. Try again. I will try again. And quickie. I think these are the same messages we got last week, with the exception of try again. Let's see. I think it was forget it last week. And this week it's no. Spirit says no. So like you try again. And then if you're still asking a yes or no question in that regard, the answer is no. I decided to use the energy deck today because there's an Islamic feast day on the calendar in which the Prophet Muhammad is said to have had a night's journey and a night of ascension, where it's believed that he spoke to the archangels Michael and Gabriel before being led to have like a meeting with God. That was the night of ascension. And so I was using a deck that I think Michael and Gabriel are both in, which is the Keepers of the Light Oracle, but I decided to pull out another one that I'm pretty sure they're in here too. So we're starting out with the card number 17, which is about taking action. And right behind it is the third chakra, Archangel Chamuel. Third chakra, solar plexus. Now, I think this is not only talking about the solar plexus chakra. I mean, usually when the card shows up, especially if it's in reverse, there's a blockage. But even with it upright, you may want to focus on this area in your life. And if it's strong, you may want to pay extra attention to messages that you get like through your stomach, like those gut feelings or sinking feelings of intuition, messages that you get, pay like extra close attention. But I'm more drawn to who Archangel Chamuel is. For one thing, he's the Archangel of lost things. So if you have something that's missing, sometimes I can tend to let something go missing, like I'm not worried about it because I know it's around for a long time. And then if it's something that I really want to find, like right away, I ask Chamuel, and then it tends to turn up, once I ask him, and pretty quickly, I might add. So he's the Archangel of lost things, but he's also the Archangel of unconditional love, which is what Pisces is about also. Pisces and Neptune are also about unconditional love. Now, that's not to be confused with the Archangel of love and marriage, which is Archangel Daniel. This is specifically unconditional love, similar to how Venus is the planet of love, but Neptune, again, would be the planet of unconditional love. Okay? So I think that that's a message. And Five of Wands. I didn't even get a chance to get it out of my mouth. I was going to say the Five of Wands I'm feeling could have to do with romantic energy also, because it's about competition, often about work, and when it's not work, in terms of like you're up for promotion, raise, acknowledgement, recognition versus somebody else, or somebody else is competing against you. Maybe you don't even realize it. Sometimes people try to take credit for your work and stuff and put you down because they are competing against you. They're trying to get a leg up on you, and often using your what would be accolades to do it. But the first thing that I got with this just now was another possible meaning, which can be about romantic rivals. Or like you having several romantic interests maybe, and they're competing for your attention, for your time, and or you being interested in somebody that maybe other people are interested in too, and there's a competition there for you. And what I just got surprised about when I picked it up was that the Hermit was behind it. So whether the Hermit is upright or in reverse, when it comes to love and relationship, it is almost always about an ex returning, rekindling a relationship with an ex. So between action and solar plexus chakra, and unconditional love and competition with the Hermit, rekindling a relationship with an ex, there could be, and obviously this is one message. It's not going to be for everybody necessarily, but there could be. Look at this pursuit. Look how the black horse is going after the white one. And again, this card is about action. There could be somebody, and it's possibly somebody that you've dated already, an ex or something, that will decide to take action this week and to actively pursue you. And maybe you're with somebody else. Maybe they believe you're with somebody else. I know my exes always think I'm with somebody. Meanwhile, I be in this house by myself alone, not doing anything, not talking to anybody, dry phone, all that kind of stuff. But they always have a bunch of stuff in their mind. It's so funny. Like when you talk to them in a platonic way and they say, oh, well, I know you have all these, basically you got them all lined up. But I'm like, who's lined up? What are you talking about? I'm like here watching, the news. That's the excitement in my life. I'm here doing taxes. You know what I mean? Anyway, so yeah, either they, because that popped into my head, either they believe that you have, either somebody else or several people lined up, or, they really do want to actively compete against who does exist in your life, maybe dating other people, and take that forefront position. So for other people, this is about arguments with close friends and or family. And I'm feeling family more so than close friends. People maybe with whom you would know or for whom you have unconditional love. The thing about unconditional love is it can be had from afar. You don't have to stay close to people. And I'm feeling like some people may want to walk away from family members. And we do have the Queen of Swords here. If anybody can do that, it's her. She is independent, experienced, realistic, and witty, objective decision-making, and clearing away all that no longer serves you, even if that means family members that are toxic. Seeing the humor in the situation, so maybe figuring out what's funny about it. We have Major Arcana card 8 upright immediately behind the Queen of Swords. This could be divorce. Maybe that's how you're walking away from somebody. Maybe this is representative of a fight with a close family member, which your spouse. And again, that fight comes to, I think, a culmination this week with, there's something going on with a court issue. It could very well be divorce for somebody. Fair decisions will be made after the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. And then we have the Chariot. So this is victory and success, right? Victory, success in whatever this injustice is, the would-be injustice. You're getting your justice. You're getting just due. Victory and success in terms of just energies being in your favor and things being fair. The scales being balanced, where it's not just everything is coming up against you. This is also about travel, movement. So maybe you're seeking travel and there's problems with that, but again, that comes out on the right side. Maybe you have a court case, like you had a ticket and it's coming up this week or whatever. You'll be successful in that and maybe getting it, reduced or deleted. Or just win the case altogether, or you had a car accident and there's a case, something like, there could be something like that for some of us. That's some kind of legality involving a mode of transportation, most likely a car, right? You can successfully balance various or opposing energies all at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition that you are receiving. And then we have the Five of Swords also up right behind that, and another Five of Wands. So there's a heavy energy here of competition, of people wanting to fight with you, people wanting to talk shit this week. Maybe even like the rumor mill, people telling rumors, people trying to like test you, challenge your, integrity, your character. But these fives are, not only are they only fives, but they're minor arcana. And look what they're up against here. Justice in the Chariot. So these definitely trump these. Don't allow things that pop up that are irritating, or that are arguments and debates, or that are even challenges for you this week. Don't allow yourself to believe that, somebody else has the upper hand on you, or that you will be defeated in these challenges. Because as long as you keep your mindset right, like the Queen of Swords, and you're thinking logically about your situations, like the Queen of Swords, you know what to remove, what to ignore, what fight to just walk away from, and what battles to actually fight, you will be successful in these. If you are in court, again, that's another place where sometimes people can get nervous, can get afraid. Again, you are expected to come out on top of this. So, have your evidence ready. Say what you mean what you say. Be honest in the court. And then I think things are going your way. If it's not actual court, if it's just like, like traffic court, or you have to, write a defense on paper and mail in the ticket or whatever, even those kind of situations. That's what I'm getting for you guys. For other people, looking at the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords, and even the Queen of Swords, Justice in the Chariot, and the Hermit, it could be about an individual themselves being conflicted. And I think that would be, in that case, it would be conflicted about like there's something going on with your spiritual life that you're questioning, you're unsure, you are trying to make a decision maybe about your path, your purpose. And again, thinking at the card here with the action, some sort of action is required of you, toward moving on that purpose. And the Chariot can be about the movement that you're expected to take with the purpose. So having shuffled these, we end up now with quite a few, it looks like, reverse cards. Just looking at the first one, the Sun, it's one of those cards that's still pretty positive, even if it's in reverse. Just, considered not as strong as when it's upright. Oh, look at this. What is that card? That was the High Priestess. This is very, it's it represents the sign of Gemini most directly, but it's very Pisces moon. So I think that's interesting that card was turned backwards. Again, pay very close attention to your intuition this week. And speaking of Gemini, use that logical thought, like the Queen of Swords. Logical thought, intuition, any, psychic abilities, awareness, common sense, street smarts, your laptop, like she's got here. Whatever information you have at your hands, use it in terms of formulating your decisions before you take that action that you need to take. And when you're taking that action, sometimes we are quick to tell people, I'm going to get you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. This is an instance where, the High Priestess is one of those, real G's move in silence types. So after she comes to that decision of what her next move is, she's not going to be telling people. She's just going to make the move. Oh, look, she did it back on top. Isn't that cool? So now I'm going to cut these on that note. So we'll talk more about that Muslim feast day, as well as some things on the planetary calendar, like the Pisces new moon, for which I'll do a separate reading, as always. The Christian calendar does have some. Oh, yeah, Ash Wednesday. We'll talk about all those things after I do the cards for those who want to stick around for that. Our overall energy is now the Three of Pentacles, and followed by the Emperor also upright. Then another sort of card of abundance with the Queen of Pentacles also showing up here, and before the Nine of Pentacles, which is reversed. Okay. One more deck to shuffle. Putting away the Queen of Swords, Justice, the Chariot, the Five of Swords, and the Five of Wands. All the cards that we looked at. Try to be careful if you're on the roads though this week, because I also just saw, as I was cutting these, somebody, you know, like a car hitting another. It wasn't like a huge accident, but like a bump where you both get out, and so you might have to prove, that may be what the competition is about. You might have to prove that it wasn't your fault, that it was this other person's fault. Again, the cards are in your favor, but let's try to avoid accidents in general. So like, you know, try to stay off your phone and don't speed and all those things that get us to cause us to bump into other people. Try to avoid them if you can. All right, so it's another 17, Major Arcana card 17, the Star, which represents the sign of Aquarius most directly. For me, this is a spiritual card too. It's similar to a temperance energy in terms of healing, restoration, recovery, where something was lost, lacking, limited, it's sort of restored and made whole again. Your cup runneth over, right? There's abundance now. It's also a card of wish fulfillment, right? Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. Prayers are being answered. Wishes are being granted. Dreams are coming true. Goals are being checked off the list. Accomplishments are being, made. Accolades are being received. Awards and all that kind of stuff. So that's our overall energy there, the Star. And I'm going to get the stand. As always, we will pull, what is it, 6 cards? Yes, 6 cards. So, I didn't mention this before, but underneath, what was it, the Five of Swords, the next card would have been the World in reverse. Just now, in these decks, just now the World in reverse in this deck fell away from the rest of the cards. So I do want to acknowledge the World in reverse. We'll talk about it a little bit maybe in a second. I'm going to put it there for now. Card most directly representing us this week is the Seven of Wands in reverse. Surrounding energy, close friends, family members, co-workers. The Nine of Wands upright. Work and finance. 10 of Cups in reverse. Let me put it here. Love and relationship. Ace of Swords, upright. Physical health. 10 of Wands, upright. And last but not least, spiritual health. 2 of Swords in reverse. Did I talk about that? I had started to say that somebody could be spiritually conflicted. I don't remember if I ever finished that sentence or if I ever actually said it out loud. But that was one of the things, too, that I thought could be the case with the Five of Wands, even throwing in the Five of Swords. The Hermit in reverse can be a very spiritual card. The Hermit upright, too, can be a very spiritual card. So I had thought that maybe somebody was going through something with their spirituality. And this could be showing up to say that as well. The Two of Swords is a card of indecision and confusion. Usually knowing what you should do, knowing what you need to do, knowing what you really want to do at your core, but not feeling confident enough to actually do it because of, what outside influences may think or say about it. So the World for me is a fire energy. When I touch the card, the World, it feels very warm. It feels like fire. So I've always attributed, since it's a Major Arcana card, I've always attributed it to like a karmic energy of fire. So possibly the planet Mars himself, which does move into Aquarius this week. That's another one of the things I'll talk about after the cards. and the planet Jupiter, himself, for example, other fire energies, the sun, Leo, all those kind of things can be what the world is about, or what's driving the world, what's causing the world to show up here. And when it's in reverse, sometimes we find that there's like a lot of stuff that is a potential for us, right? There's something is promising, something is, there's good potential in it, or maybe someone, but like we're feeling stuck as to how to actually get it. So maybe that's where the action comes in, taking action and pursuing something. It's an excellent time to like review how well we do at asking for help when we need it, because that may be a way to get the problem solved. And just remembering that we don't have to do everything on our own. So maybe taking action means seeking help, seeking support from somebody else. Whether the card is upright or in reverse, which of course ours is in reverse, it can often be a card of completion too. So like I was saying a moment ago with the fives, that those are often about something culminating, something is ending. And that's why I associated them when I saw the Justice card with possibly divorce for somebody, for example. So the world too can be about an end of a cycle, can be about some sort of completion, and like something at which we have worked very hard and we're like almost to the finish line, which can be what the Nine of Wands is about as well. Like you're almost to the finish line, don't give up. You want to give up, but don't. So that's the message. Don't quit now that you're almost finished. There's you are definitely in need of some sort of like well-deserved rest. Maybe even actual sleep, relaxation. That's why the Ten of Wands is showing up in the physical health card. You might need some, actual sleep, meditation, peace. But and if you do, don't be afraid to take it. First and foremost, let me get that out. But you are getting closer to not only completing whatever this cycle is, but to yourself. Like in terms of who you really are, it's getting closer to your purpose, getting closer to your past, like at your deepest levels. And that may be, again, due to Pisces, due to maybe since the world is fire for me, due to Jupiter and Pisces. Again, Pisces and Neptune are about our deepest levels. If you aren't seeing that kind of progress already in your life, right now, that when the card has just now appeared, then, again, expect that it's coming. And you should see it sometime this week, likely. And it's also a good time to ask yourself or observe yourself and try to figure out on your own what might be standing in your way. Why are you stuck? So why aren't you seeing this movement already? What else I want to say about it? For me, the world is often also something that we've had an opportunity to do in our lives and we did not do it. It's like we have free will. Opportunity came up to quit our job and find a new one. Leave a job that wasn't working for us. Leave a relationship that wasn't working for us. Leave a living condition, that wasn't working for us to get out now. And for whatever reason, we stayed. Again, maybe it was a marriage. Maybe we know we should have left this partner long ago. This relationship been toxic, but I'm still here. And now the universe maybe is stepping in to say, nope, you should have done it. You didn't do it. It's okay. You put in enough work. I'm still going to reward you. I'm going to end it for you. And the world, energy of the world steps in and ends that thing for us, that cycle, that situation, and moves us very slowly, usually, into something that is for which we're far better suited. I don't know if you guys ever heard the story about how Will and Jada got together. But he was married, and he might be all open and freaky now, at least that's what they say. But at the time he was married and he did not believe in divorce, period. Like, we're married for life. I guess even if he was willing to cheat, maybe he would have been married for life still, because he was just dead set against divorce. But Jada was dead set against dealing with him while he was married. He needed to be divorced. Well, one day, very unexpectedly, I think it was Valentine's Day, actually, of whatever year it was, if I remember the story correctly, the wife unexpectedly asked Will for a divorce rather than him ever having to go get one. So once she was like, I'm leaving you, he didn't have a choice to stick around. It's like the universe stepped in, said, okay, you're not going to end this marriage. You've had opportunities to end it. You know it's a dead-end marriage. You should end it. I'm going to step in and end it for you. And then put him where he belongs with his subsequent, partner, which obviously is Jada. So I hope that maybe gives even more clarity to what the world is about, or what I was trying to get across in terms of what the world is about. So with that, I'll move on to another 3. It's our overall energy, the 3 of Pentacles. The Emperor is behind it. So the 3 of Pentacles is first and foremost a worker energy. It's when we get reward from the 3 of Pentacles, it's usually reward that something which we actually work for, as opposed to like an inheritance, lottery winning, luck or whatever. This is, I went to work, I put my hours in, and now this is my paycheck. Usually, with the 3 of Pentacles, and with the Emperor immediately behind it, the Emperor can be like a boss, a leader. So maybe this is a good week where there'll be promotions. There'll be people starting their own businesses or having success in businesses that they've already started, because behind that Emperor is actually the Queen of Pentacles, as I mentioned before. And then the 9 of Pentacles, albeit in reverse. So it looks like a very, very good week financially in terms of money and the material. And this card, it's very, very positive, especially with regard to work and career. But it's, it's good overall and in general. And it tells us that the people around us really appreciate us and our efforts. And they notice the quality of work and the quality of what we do, even if we don't get a paycheck and if we don't notice ourselves, like how much we are valued. The card shows up to tell us how much we're valued. The 3 tells us to keep doing what we're doing. That we're on the right track. It's like the Ascended Masters taking a look down and saying, good job, kiddo. Just keep doing that. And, of course, there's always room for improvement, and anything can always be better. But stuff can be worse too, right? So be proud of where you are as you take those strides to be better. You don't need to scrap whatever it is you're doing and start again. Continue from where you are. So that might be a message, especially for somebody who has started a new business or something. And if it's gotten off to a slow start and you think, oh man, maybe I made the wrong choice. These cards are saying, stick with it. Don't give up. Don't quit. You're almost to that marker where things are really going to kick in for you. And this might be the week that it actually happens, by the end of this week, where things kick in and you start to, see an uptick in your business or some sort of level of success, marker of success. So thinking about the cards that we started with, the action, the 5 of Wands, the Hermit. I talked about pursuing an ex or an ex pursuing you. But in addition to that, some sort of action and pursuing something that we've been trying to manifest, even if it's, it might not have anything to do with romance or whatever. It may, again, have to do with spirituality, somehow, is what I'm really getting. But one of the meanings of the 7 of Wands in reverse can be that we need to sort of guard ourselves against indecision. Because again, like I said, with this 2 of Swords, we know what we want to do. It's not really indecision. It's just not taking action. And of course, if you're really unsure, it's better to not just, walk around confused and whatever, and pop back and forth between yes and no, and to really figure out what you want. But at the same time, there's something about hesitating and waiting and missing an opportunity when you do know what you should do. You already had that inkling. You already did that high priestess, thought, and figured out what your next step should be. So you know what it is, and now you have to actually take the action, and not taking it could cost you. Whether that's because you need to pursue a relationship, because you need to pursue something at work, whatever it is, that you could miss the boat, miss the opportunity if you don't take it. So, and waiting for this perfect moment, there's people that do that, especially Virgos. I'm saying especially Virgos because the Hermit. Virgos seek to be perfect. Which of course nobody's perfect, and waiting for the very, very perfect moment to make a move, to do something. That time never comes. So if you continue to wait for the perfect moment, you will literally, quite literally, be waiting forever. So don't do that. And again, that's a missed opportunity. Another possible meaning can be that there's some sort of level of anxiety that we're dealing with. And if we're feeling anxious, that we should try to figure out, again, get to the root of why this may be. So the same thing as before when I said, like, figuring out what obstacles, or, observing ourselves and figuring out what obstacles may be in our way. This is figuring out the root of why might I be feeling this way? And what can I do to change that, to get out of this? Sometimes anxiety is alleviated by taking action. Whether that's because you all of a sudden become confident or, and strong, have a moment of strength and say, okay, I'm going to go for it. Or if you just say, fuck it and take a risk and I'm just going to go for it, even though I feel nervous, ultimately, those things can make you, feel stronger afterwards. Once you take that chance, it's like, okay, well, that's done. Once you take the big leap, then it's like, okay, well, I landed, I'm safe. Okay, we'll see what happens, so that anxiety is gone at that point. And again, if you need help dealing with something or dealing with feelings or with taking action, then this is not the week to be like too proud to admit it. This is the week to seek support or help from somebody who you believe can help you. And that may be another reason why the Queen of Swords was here, right? Because air signs, especially Aquarius and Gemini, tend to be, Gemini especially, tend to be like this sort of peacemaker and, like the life of the party, the person that brings other people together, that, very diplomatic, also looking at all perspectives of a situation. So they can, agree with you and see that side, but they can also see the other side that they may not agree with, but they can still see and say, well, I understand why this person might be feeling this way because of that. It's not my style, but I get why this may have turned out that way, and just look at all of it, and so give you support in that way. So that may be why the air sign energy showed up. And that takes us to the Nine of Wands, which means somebody in our surrounding area, or surrounding energy, that maybe is rubbing off on us or causing us, or maybe we're going through something with a friend or coworker or family member or something, is also feeling anxious, possibly with the Nine of Wands. They are also feeling like, I can't do this anymore, but they're at the end of the cycle, so they need to keep going. They need to stick it out. And, they may also want to give up. And maybe that is going to be a relationship for some of us, like, oh, this is never going to happen. Maybe you're on one side of the world, feeling this way, my ex is never going to come back, or I'm never going to find them. And then, the other person's on the opposite, feeling the same exact way, and all one of you has to do is take action to move closer to the other, to pick up the phone, to whatever, and you both can have those feelings be alleviated. So that's one thing. But overall, this Nine of Wands is about not putting the wands down just yet, not giving up the fight, completing the cycle. You're almost there. So if you have those sort of thoughts of, I can't do this anymore, I don't want to keep putting effort into this, or even if it's not a conscious thought, if you just feel sort of like, I'm tired of dealing with all these things, hopefully you'll be reminded of the reading, and oh wait, let me just stick this out. Or if somebody around you is going through that, maybe you can encourage them to do the same. Moving on to the Ten of Cups in reverse for work and finance. This is a card that says that while we might not have the perfect job, or, like every element that we'd like or that we think we deserve in a workplace, or in our career, or even in our own business, that in general, again, this is another one that tells us that we are appreciated and that things are basically pretty good, so that we shouldn't be like beating ourselves up, or like cutting off your nose to spite your face, as they say, in terms of making a decision that would end up hurting you, harming you, rather than allowing you to continue to flourish. If you're looking for work, stay positive and, present yourself as, a cheerful, interesting person to be around, that is knowledgeable about whatever the job is, and eager to do it, or, capable, whatever is required, right? Whatever you have to say that will help you to sort of stand out as somebody that they would want to work with or have work for them or both. And that's going to be the key to getting the job. In terms of finances, possibly separate and apart from our jobs, whether the Ten of Cups, this is another card that, can kind of go either way. So like whether it's upright or in reverse, of course, again, ours is in reverse. It shows that money is unlikely to be a problem this week, as we already said, based on what's here in this pile. But it reminds us again to be thankful and to show the universe gratitude for what we do have already, even though more is probably on the way. And that's actually a large part of increasing our, resources, is being thankful for what we have already. So, it's like a cycle. More is on the way already, but more also will be on the way if we're thankful for what we have, so that keeps the flow going, so to speak. And that takes us to love and relationship, and the Ace of Swords upright. This ace can mean something new, right? We're ready to start something new, as aces in general can mean, right? If you're currently in a committed relationship, it can indicate that there's something about this relationship that you will choose to put a stop to. So think Queen of Swords. When she cuts things out that are not helpful to her, that she's over, so that she can move forward. So we got the sword showing up again. So it's that kind of energy. Queen of Swords saying, you know what, I don't want this in the relationship anymore. This isn't healthy to us. This isn't conducive to our growth. I want to cut this out. Maybe you're saying that, or maybe your partner's saying that, and then you're coming to an agreement that you're going to stop doing this thing. And if you're the one that's having the idea, don't hesitate to speak your mind to your partner. If something in the relationship is hurtful or bad for you, you should be able to talk about that. If you instead lose your partner because you bring it up and say, this is hurting me, this is harming me, then fuck them. Good riddance, right? You haven't really lost anything if you lose a partner like that. They say good riddance to bad rubbish, or something like that is the way the saying goes. You're being guided to think, again, the world, you're being guided toward a relationship that is better for you. So you should definitely tell the truth. Don't hold anything back. Don't try to purposely hurt somebody's feelings unnecessarily. There's a way to say things too, no matter what, but be honest and tell the truth. Don't try to hold things back because you think that might cause the relationship to fall apart. If the relationship is going to fall apart because you're being harmed by it, by something that's going on there, by mentioning that, if that's going to cause it to fall apart, let it fall apart. So that may be another reason why Justice also was here earlier as well. Moving on to physical health, we got the Ten of Wands upright, and it's possible that stress, maybe a lack of sleep, like we were talking about before, anxiety even, something has taken or is taking a serious toll on our bodies, but there is a way to turn it around. Okay, it's not like a lost cause. First of all, we need to calm down. We need to release those negative energies. And secondly, we need to be sure that we are getting adequate rest, okay, and or sleep. And so once we've done those things, maybe there is a need for vitamins. Stress actually can really deplete certain vitamins in our bodies. So if we have a stress, and then stress creates stress hormones, who may be getting in the way of your body's ability to absorb or to use a particular vitamin. So that kind of goes to waste. So you may need to take some vitamins. What else? Maybe you need a massage, or a couple of days off, a vacation, if you can afford to do that, as in terms of money and time, and an opportunity. I don't know, but if you've been having ongoing sleeplessness and fatigue, or some other physical health problem that has persisted, then you need to go to the doctor too. Don't ignore that. Get treatment. Even if you feel well, I don't have the money to do that, or I don't have health insurance, there's always, some place there's hospitals that are public hospitals, public clinics, that if you don't pay the bill, the city pays for it, all that kind of stuff. You're meant to go. So somebody's watching and those are your circumstances, I'm talking to you. Please do seek some medical attention. I'm also seeing something about I don't want anybody to freak out, because this could be vitamins and stuff too, like and the stress. Maybe it's causing your period to not to come when it should be coming. Now, if you are my age, or thereabouts, it's possible that your period is stopping because of that, if it's not coming. If you are period age, where it should be coming, then, and it's not coming, then it could be your diet. Again, it could be your lack of vitamins, particularly things like folic acid, B12, D3. You want to get these. You want to make sure that you have these vitamins, that you're not, negative in them. That's not the right word, but I couldn't think of the other word. What else am I seeing here? If you know that you've completed menopause for sure, or you've had a hysterectomy, so you know for sure that you should not be bleeding, and you go to the doctor. It may be nothing, because there are reasons why that could happen, and that are nothing. They're nothing to worry about, and there are some more serious reasons. So go to the doctor. All right, I'm going to move on from that to the Two of Swords and spirituality. So this could mean that there's some sort of spiritual leader, maybe a preacher, a minister. It could be, a more holistic or spiritual type leader, trying to like dominate you somehow. Maybe force you into like a reading or some sort of other service or something that you don't want. It could be a religious leader also, like I said, to maybe force you into something with church or some sort of practice or something that you'd rather not be involved in. This could be a family member too. Maybe that's what the Five of Wands is about, like fighting with family about them trying to force you into maybe the traditional family ideology, and you're going in a different direction. This is definitely a time for you to think for yourself and to not accept what others say just because they say it. So remember I talked about how the Two of Swords can be about worrying about what other people say or think. This is not the week to be doing that. No, human spiritual leader, whether it's a religious one or a more holistic one, again, is perfect. And you can usually discern. If you haven't learned discernment yet, then you will. But good ones usually don't present themselves as somebody who is perfect, or try to use tactics to like force people or strong arm people or control others. So you should definitely take all that into consideration, and then trust use your solar plexus, right, and the gut feelings, whatever you're feeling, high priestess, your intuition. Take all those things into account. I think I'm going to use these now. Again, we're beginning with this overall energy of the Sun in reverse. The Sun in this deck in reverse can mean that like there's a time. This is a time where we need to again think positively, and if we have some sort of block, obstacle in front of us, it could be specifically like a creative block, maybe artist block, or some sort of work block that we're trying to overcome. The start is to first again be thankful for what we have already and what does work for us, what is going well, rather than thinking about like the opposite of the Sun, so like darkness and like what what's not going well, what's negative and stuff potentially in our lives. And also in reverse, immediately after it is blossoming abundance, because I think, again, this is sort of creative block. It's a number 3 on this card. 3s are about creativity and co-creativity and collaboration and building. So we're the thinking man in this equation. Using our thoughts, we can turn this around to a more positive situation. And then we have, oh, this is funny too. Speaking of thoughts, the 7th chakra. And Archangel Uriel, it's the 7th chakra, the crown, right? So, yeah, using your thoughts, you can turn around that situation. And where you are not finding yourself not in blossoming abundance, again, this is the week for blossoming abundance. So it's just going to be, this calls for you to feel gratitude and positivity about being abundant, and you will be. So joining these other cards, the card that most directly represents us this week from this deck is Goddess of the Moon. And how appropriate is that? We do have the Pisces new moon on the 2nd. So this is a very positive card. Think High Priestess, think intuition, paying attention to signs, synchronicities, messages. How does that may correlate to the 7 of Wands in that, like I said, this could be a card of confusion, anxiety, and so this would be more one that's more so of strength and clarity and information, right? If we so choose to pay attention to the signs and messages that the universe is sending to us. So in that surrounding energy placement, maybe having to do with our friends, co-workers, family members, love interests, exes, whatever, our surrounding energy. We have envy. So there could be somebody who is actually jealous of us. Maybe that's with whom we're competing, or that's who's competing against us, or that's who's trying us. Maybe we don't realize they're competing against us. Sometimes, again, people will try to best you because they're jealous of you. So that may be what the 5 of Wands that we saw twice, 2 or 3 times, in addition to the 5 of Swords, could be about this week. And maybe where some debates, arguments, even possible, all out fights, arguments could happen. Close friends, family members, co-workers, something at work. Again, love interest, a former love interest, ex, that could be the battle in the divorce court or something. Work and finance. We have daughter romance, which is interesting, but it's got these 3s on it again. So again, 3s are about creativity, collaboration, co-creation. And so this could be going into a business, maybe with your mate, or with a love interest, with a crush, starting a business, or working with one, or deciding to date somebody at work, or the money that we're making and the increase, maybe the new promotion that somebody gets or something, allowing us to be able to have more successful relationships as well. Joining the Ace of Swords in the position of love and relationship, it is the Angel of Love. So how more appropriate could that be? You probably, when you saw this one, said, oh, it should be there. But this one is even better for that placement. Am I right? The Angel of Love showing up for the love and relationship placement. So, the universe is definitely working with us this week on our relationships. And in that area of newness, whether it's new things for a committed relationship that already exists, or it's meeting a new partner. It's, like it's being divinely guided and blessed. In terms of our physical health, joining the 10 of Wands, we have man holding a coin in reverse. So again, this is somebody maybe who's been working themselves so hard. That's what the 10 of Wands can be too. And that may be why you are sleepless. Maybe you've been working, and your love life was affected, or maybe you've been working again because you want to have money in order to be able to further your love life or your relationship and maybe provide or something like that. But if it's causing you now to potentially have a health concern, it's time again to pay attention to that. So this man holding a coin could be maybe, just working himself too much. He needs to get some rest. And or it's caused stress, anxiety, and he needs to pay attention to that. And for our spiritual health, joining the Two of Swords, we have adjacent possibilities. You know, there are other things to do. There are other ways to go about it, other ideologies in which to believe, other practices that we could be doing. We don't have to go with the traditional. We don't have to do what our family did. We don't have to go to the church that, you know, everyone's been going to for the past 50 years or whatever it is. We can do our own thing. We don't have to go to any church. We can be an atheist if we want. You know, there are many, many possibilities, and they are for us to choose regardless of what somebody else may think about it. On that note, I will now do our crossbred. It looks like a good week for love and a good week for money. And that's you. Those are the two things that people tend to care the most about. I might as well just take these off the table completely to give us some room. Okay, so let's see what these say about the week. Recent past here. So obviously recent past can be the literal recent past, or can be early in the week. Whereas at the end of the week, that will be the past, you know. Near future. The message from the higher self. 3D life. The heart of the matter here. And the love placement. Love and relationship placement. I didn't put the crossing card here. So we got one now. And our overall energy was very positive. Again, major arcana card. The star, which represents the sign of Sagittarius. I'm sorry, it does not represent Sagittarius, but maybe Sagittarius is significant. Well, again, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but that's not where I was going with this. The star represents the sign of Aquarius, air sign Aquarius, who the Queen of Swords is most directly as well. The queen of any given suit tends to represent the fixed sign of that suit. The fixed sign of air is Aquarius. So Queen of Swords most directly correlates to the sign of Aquarius. Mars, the red planet, which may be who the Emperor was representing in the last spread. The Emperor that showed up under our 3 of Pentacles may have been showing up because of Mars. Mars is the ruler of the signs of Aries and Scorpio, and is the planet of action. So again, this week is about taking action. Recent past. The Hermit is back. Take time for contemplation, to retreat and to go within. Be a beacon for others on their path to spiritual enlightenment. So this is not the love and relationship placement, but again, for some, that Hermit, I believe, was showing up for love, and for some, it was showing up for spiritual reasons. And that can be the case now too, because joining it is the Ace of Cups. This is the beginning of a new emotional experience for you. It may be the first blush of romantic love, the rebirth of a current relationship, or an awakening of spiritual gifts and insights. So that totally supports what we were saying. And whatever it is, it's something that you have earned. You know, you put in the effort, you've done the work, and so you're reaping what you've sown in that regard. The planning, resources, and efforts that you've invested in your dream will reap great rewards. In the meantime, have patience and meditate on your next steps. Near future. The 9 of Cups. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have. We've seen that in a couple of cards already, that we need to be thankful for what we have already. All that you have, and all that's still to come. So this is like doubling down that message. It's reconfirmation. Plus, we now have 2 wish fulfillment cards, our overall energy, the star, and now this Nine of Cups. Joining the Nine of Cups is temperance, which is the healing energy that I said reminds me very much of the star. And on this temperance card, as is the case with many decks in terms of the temperance card, there is a water bearer on the front of the card. So this is giving me Aquarius also. The need for balance and moderation, cooperation and compromise, wait for perfect timing. So this is about, again, healing, restoration, recovery. Maybe that's what we've been wishing for something to be restored, for something to be made whole, someone to be made whole, for us to be made whole, for something to come back, for someone to come back. And whatever it is, that prayer, that goal, that focused intention, that manifestation is being realized. A King of Swords may be involved. He is brilliant, impartial, professional, and diplomatic. Speak your mind with confidence. Seek out professional advice. Again, ask for help, ask for support if you need. Say what you mean what you say. And balance mental and emotional considerations. And it's funny because this is called balance too. Message from our higher self. Victory! Told ya. Wait a minute. Look what it's paired with. I have to sneeze. Do I? Yeah, excuse me. Sorry. The Six of Wands. Victory. Good news is on its way. Public recognition or awards. But I told you that you were going to be victorious in what you were doing and what was happening in your life earlier. Even those things involving conflict with others potentially. Having seen the Five of Swords and the Five of Wands 2 or 3 times. We saw the Chariot. I said the Chariot is a card of victory. It's showing up here again with the Six of Wands and that Five of Swords again. So this is the higher self. You can successfully balance various or opposing energies all at once through determination and focus. You have earned the rewards and recognition that you are receiving. So even if you are conflicted or if you are in conflict with another entity, another being, you are still on top. You can still be victorious if you remain focused and positive. Again, so this is, again, doubling down on a message, reiterating, reconfirming that this is all about our thought this week. This is all about where our crown chakra, or where our head is, where our thought is. If it's in the positive, if it's in action mode, if it's about getting things done, that's what's going to happen. We're going to get things done. We're going to be successful at them. We're not going to let like little energies of fives stop us. 3D life. The Magician. Talk about manifestation. All right. There's magic in the air, and you can manifest everything you need to be successful. Major Arcana card 1 most directly represents the sign of Gemini and is about using that thought again, positive thought, to bring those things into our lives that we want. The funny thing about manifestation, what's not so funny actually, is that, I'm saying positive thought brings what we want. Negative thought can bring in stuff we don't want. So that's another reason to be careful about it. But this is very, very positive. Wow, this is beautiful. It's another star. So we have the star as our overall energy, and we're like really realizing this energy of the star in our lives this week. You're about to take a big leap forward with your life. So something that we've been working on manifesting is coming in, or some sort of really new, wonderful opportunity that we are ready for, that we will have the tools to take on and to do, even, especially if we're thinking positive and being confident. But we're the Magician, so we're capable of doing all this stuff. Whatever the opportunity is, we could handle it, even if it's something that's out of our normal practice, it's out of our normal, what we would do, right? Realm of what we would do. But we're capable of doing it. And it might be something we wanted to do, or it could be something that we didn't even think of, but it's still an answer to a prayer that we've had. Something wonderful coming in. You're about to take a big leap forward with your life. Worry will be replaced with optimism, fear with hope, and joy is coming home to roost. Coming home. We have the Four of Wands. Something really, really wonderful going on with your home, your household, your family, your relationships. This is engagement. This is marriage. This is commitment. This is whatever in your life with you as an individual could possibly make you happy and make you feel joy, make you feel peace, make you feel contentment, you know, no worries, whatever that thing is for you, that, right? That's the kind of energy that's going to be surrounding you. That's what you're going to be feeling this week. And it's probably in response or due to some sort of wish fulfillment that comes in this week. Some things having been successfully manifested. And at the heart of the matter, the Queen of Wands. She is confident, warm, intelligent, and graceful. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate your ability to, don't underestimate, I'm reading two sentences at the same time, yourself, right? You have the ability to assert yourself and your independence and creativity. Queen of Wands is possibly an Aries, like the Emperor, a Leo, or Sagittarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes, and maybe actually female or feminine archetype. More wish fulfillment, another 9 of cups. So we got 2 stars, 2 9s of cups showing up here. People are really, really being successful with their manifestation this week. Your wish comes true. Concerns fade away, and you have a love of life. But it comes from being confident and thinking positive, right? The Queen of Wands is super confident. So facing whatever you got to face, not giving up, going after it. And all these wands, I mean, they're, you know, fire wands is about movement, is about action. So that I'm sure this is Mars is driving all of that too. And then something comes in that we don't necessarily have to work for. We probably don't work for at all. The 6 of Pentacles is about like that angel that comes in many, many forms. It just shows up in our life. This is somebody paying it forward. This is we scratch off a lottery ticket and win money. This is that assistance that you need that comes right on time. Whether it's information or news that you need, it comes right in the moment that you need it, or it's money, you know, you're standing at the cash register and you're going in your wallet and you don't have enough, but you look down on the ground and there's somebody before you drop their money and they're long gone, but now now you have enough if you pick it up to pay your bill and, you know, leave the store with all your food that you need to feed your family. It's that something is coming in right on time. Your credit card or your credit, your mortgage, your, you know, a loan is approved. You didn't expect it to be approved necessarily. You know, my credit, I don't think my credit is good, but I'm going to try it anyway. Boom, it goes through. You got it. This is financial aid for school, whatever. Some sort of timely assistance, help. It can, in love and relationship, it can be about reciprocity and equity and then, you know, like an even exchange of these positive energies. Now, the thing with this card, though, is that when it shows up and when, you know, we're getting this wish fulfillment, things are going our way, we're getting these blessings, all that the universe asks when this card shows up is that we too are a blessing to someone else. So think about that, how you want to pay it forward. Or how you want to bless. It doesn't have to be money. You know, it can be money though. It can be, you know, you're donating to your favorite charity or to whomever or whatever. If it's an entity, if not a person, like feed your soul spiritually, your spiritual advisor or whatever. You know, nurtures you from where you get your information, from where you learn stuff. Put something in there, donation. Or volunteering your time. Or again, you know, you go to Starbucks, you buy a coffee, you know, I'm going to leave $5 for the next person too. Even something as small as that maybe doesn't take too much effort out of you or whatever, is you having been blessed to be a blessing to the next person. What's crossing all of these is the Queen of Swords. She's back. Again, she is independent, experienced, realistic, and witty. Objective decision making. And clearing away all that no longer serves you. And seeing the humor in the situation. This is about not taking life too seriously, even when there's obstacles that come in our way that we have to take action. We got to remove them. We got to do stuff. But it's still like, let me not take myself or life too seriously, you know, because it's meant to be enjoyed. We're here for a short time in the scheme of things. So it's meant to be, feel as good as possible, as often as possible. Don't trip. That's the Queen of Swords energy. So it's not really like anything that's crossing in terms of like a challenge or whatever, you know? Love, relationship. Okay, not as exciting, but it's, you know, where we've put our effort, where we put our energy, we're putting them right now is from where we're going to get our reward. Skilled work is rewarded. Learning all there is to know about a topic and maybe even going back to school. Again, this can be about maybe doing things, getting a new job, learning a new trade so that we can better afford our relationships. We can afford to provide or to take care of ourselves or whatever. I mean, this could be tied to that door to romance placement where, you know, the work and finance is your way to romance. See a connection there. But even if it's not tied to actual money or the material, this is, again, where we put our effort is from where we're going to get a reward. So if you're putting in energy with somebody, you know, there is going to be some sort of payoff with that. It may not be exactly what you want, though. Maybe not be exactly how you want. May come about slightly differently. Or you ever watch those like things where people are wishing like on a genie? It's like you got to say the wish you want exactly how you want it. Otherwise, it comes out a little bit different. So it could be like that. Like we could have a picture in our mind and maybe what we actually receive is a little bit different. But I think even if that happens, don't become upset. Like again, the universe is putting you in the best place, doing the best possible thing for you. This is about doubt, pessimism, and disappointment. Focus upon the fact that God loves you and always has the highest of intentions for you. A positive outlook makes it easier to recover from life's little difficulties so that you can move onward and upward. So even if you're a little slightly disappointed, again, keeping positive, you'll be able to see faster than if you're thinking negative why that was the best possible thing for you and how you're being led to the best, you know, decision. The universe is putting you on path, basically. And we have that, we have Major Arcana card 11, Strength, also paired with this. And this is one of the best cards, like for any placement in love and relationship, similar to what I was saying about the Six of Earth, which is crossing it now. You know, this is mutual respect and adoration and support. This is, you know, uplifting each other, right? You have the strength to hold each other up or to hold each other down, you know, in the positive sense too. Like some people, it depends how you look at it. But some people consider that being held down, and some people say, you know, hold me up, elevate me, uplift me. And with strength, you can do both. And, you know, this is, again, mutual respect, adoration, reciprocity in your relationships. Being crossed by the Seven of Cups. So maybe that's why there is doubt, pessimism, confusion, possibly even disappointment, because there are choices. There are options. And maybe we have to decide, or somebody else has to make a decision about us. You know, we need to, you know, sort of narrow these choices down. It's time to stop procrastinating. This could also be tied to what I was talking about, like if waiting too long, not taking action can lead to a missed opportunity. You know, that may be why there's disappointment. It's time to stop procrastinating and to make a decision so that you can move forward with a priority. If you need to do more research, then do so, but don't overthink the situation. Listen to your heart, or in this case, solar plexus. And that's what we have for reading this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I do appreciate it. And supposedly, one day, maybe, the engagement will help us to help the channel to get back to, you know, back where the algorithm actually recognizes it, and we, you know, we get views and people get to see us. People don't have to search for me, like say, are you still on? Because I typed in your name and you still didn't come up. Sigh. You know, for those of you who like to stick around, I am picking up my laptop now, putting it on my lap. Did you hear it? It weighs a ton. I still have to send this thing in. This is the same laptop that I was supposed to send in. I should be working with a different laptop. I should not be on this one. There we go. That was quick. So this week, what do we have going on? Christian calendar. So we begin in February, and there's nothing in February, but on March 2nd, the same day as the Pisces new moon, we do have the feast day of Ash Wednesday. And Ash Wednesday, well, I guess I should have started with Fat Tuesday, which is Monday the 1st, mostly will be celebrated in Louisiana. I wish I was there because it's going to be lame here. Anyway, and I love king cake. I love king cake. Fat Tuesday will be the party time, the eating all you want and all that stuff before Ash Wednesday, when people decide to, start Lent and, give up something that may be partying, maybe eating a particular food or whatever it is, drinking, smoking, and all these bad habits and stuff, that they want to cut off, and use this opportunity to maybe help them to be more disciplined than other times. They're going to do that. So Ash Wednesday is the day that in the churches, the Christian churches, they will take the palms from last year's Palm Sunday and burn them. And especially in Roman Catholic churches, they will then not only to have those ashes, but they will take those ashes, and anybody that comes into the church for this blessing, they will make a sign of the cross on the person's forehead with the ashes. So that is Fat Tuesday and Ash Wednesday on the Christian calendar. Moving on to the Jewish calendar. And the 4th, Friday the 4th, will be the first day. Now this is interesting because Jewish holidays and Islamic holidays tend to follow the new moon. I said the new moon was on the 2nd. And this is on the 4th. But they wait until the moon, they know that it's going to see that crescent in the sky. They'll wait for it. So I think that may be what's happening, why the month isn't starting into the 4th instead of starting on the day of the new moon. Anyway, the Hebrew month of Adar. To tell you a little bit more about that, I went to www.shabbat.org. And Adar is the 12th month of the Jewish calendar, counting from Nisan. When Adar enters, joy increases. Maybe that's why, again, this week is going to be so wonderful and full of joy and happiness of the things that we've been hoping for, praying for, or again, maybe something having to do with our home, family, or household, or our romantic lives. And this joy, this is according to the Talmud, that, this is the month of joy, basically. And it reaches its climax on the 14th of the month, as we celebrate Mordecai and Esther's triumph over the wicked Haman. Now, the 14th of the month is also for March. That's 3/14. That's Pi Day also. It is Albert Einstein's birthday, the anniversary of the death of Stephen Hawking. It's Steak and BJ Day for those who are into that. What else? That may be it. And it's this. It's the celebration of Mordecai and Esther's triumph over the wicked Haman. The spirit of Purim permeates the entire month, making it a time of unparalleled rejoicing and good mazel, which is fortune. So this is like a lucky month too for Jewish people. During a Jewish leap year, which occurs 7 times in a 19-year cycle, or approximately once every 3 years, there's an added month called Adar 1. They have like Adar 1 and Adar 2 that they insert before this month of Adar. And that's how you end up with Adar 1 and 2. Then it aligns with the lunar months and, the moon, obviously, with the solar year, ensuring that the holidays fall in the proper seasons. So that's what I was trying to explain before, how they really pay attention to where the moon is going to be on a particular day, and that's how they decide what day the holiday should fall on. So that is the Hebrew calendar. And then moving on, speaking of the Islamic calendar, moving on to the Islamic calendar, we have the feast day of Al-Isra wal Miraj, the night journey and ascension. This is I should have done this one first. So this is February 28th. So this is Monday. that this occurs, which means I guess it'll also be Tuesday. That's another thing about Jewish and Islamic holidays. They start at sundown on one day and they go into the next day. So this is the 28th. And for a little bit more about that, I went to, well, looks like I just Googled, and I didn't click on the page. So let's just read it from here. What is Isra and Miraj? Isra and Miraj night marks the Prophet Muhammad's journey from Mecca to Jerusalem and his ascent into heaven, sometime around the year 621, according to Islamic belief. The details come from the Quran and other teachings from the Prophet Muhammad. I thought I had brought up something else about this. Well, let me click on one of these right now then. Oh, I see what I wanted to tell you. It says that Miraj, or the ascension of the Prophet Muhammad into heaven, in this tradition, Muhammad is prepared for a meeting with God, his meeting with God, by the archangels Jibril, or Gabriel, and Michael, or Michael, one evening while he's asleep in the Kaaba, which is the sacred shrine of Mecca. And of course, there's a lot more to this story if anybody is interested in looking it up. Isra is spelled I-S-R-A, and Miraj is spelled M-I R-A-J. Or you can just look up the night, N-I-G-H-T, journey, and or ascension. You can look up the night journey on its own, or you can look up the night journey and ascension. And that is another name by which it goes. And that takes us now to the planetary calendar. We're going to move on to. And it looks like Mars moving into Aquarius is actually on the 6th. So this, sorry, the camera had turned itself off and I was just talking. So Mars entering Aquarius happens on the 6th. So that's the day after. That's next week's reading. Turns out Venus also enters Aquarius that same day, and Mercury is already there. Mercury entered last week. So the three of them will all be there in Aquarius very soon, which is nice, interesting. And maybe why these cards showed up here in the near future placement. In the near future, we're going to have all this air, king of air. Mercury is going to be in Aquarius. Mars is going to be in Aquarius. Venus is going to be in Aquarius. And the three of them together, maybe especially Venus, helping us to bring in the things that we want. Love, money, abundance, which she rules. And then we also have this balance card, which represents, it's really temperance, and represents the planet Jupiter in the sign of Sagittarius most directly. But for me also is more Aquarius, with the water bearer there on the front. So that may explain why those cards are showing up in the near future. They're for next week. What else? This week we just have to really talk about is the new moon in Pisces. And for that, I'll do a separate reading. So on that note, I will bid you all good night. And again, I thank you for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate it. And maybe one day it really will lead to the channel, regaining its recognition with the YouTube algorithm. And people won't have to say, I typed in your name and you still didn't come up. I can't find you nowhere, and all that kind of stuff. They'll know that I'm here. Maybe. All right. Thank you for watching. Namaste.